I have put 35 hours into Spider-Man 2. I've beat it, got the platinum, and can confirm the puddles look absolutely amazing. All jokes aside, being granted the opportunity to review Spider-Man 2 is a full circle moment for me in many ways. So I want to send out a huge thank you to Insomniac and PlayStation for this incredible opportunity. I'm not gonna lie, after playing Spider-Man 2018 and Spider-Man Miles Morales, both amazing games by the way, I was a little worried for Spider-Man 2. I was worried because after Miles Morales, I couldn't see what more Insomniac could really do to evolve the franchise. Even though I really enjoyed Spider-Man Miles Morales and the new gameplay elements it offered like Miles' Venom abilities, after getting the Platinum Trophy, I was starting to feel a little burnt out from the gameplay formula. I know Miles Morales is an Uncharted Lost Legacy type of situation and not a full-blown sequel, so maybe that's why the game was pretty safe overall. And I've been on record saying Insomniac's Spider-Man is the best Spider-Man game to date, and I've played a lot of Spider-Man games over the years. But my question going into Spider-Man 2 is, have they peaked? Outside of expanding New York, delivering a great story, quality of life improvements, and upgrading the visuals, has the core gameplay hit a road stop? All I knew is that Spider-Man 2 needed to make some big changes to keep the experience fresh. So, did Insomniac pull it off? By the end of this video, you'll find out. I'm not going to get too much into story specifics because Spider-Man 2 has a lot of surprises, Easter eggs, and I want y'all to experience it for yourself. I will say, this is Insomniac's best Spidey story yet. The story takes place roughly 9 months after the events of Spider-Man Miles Morales. Peter is having a hard time balancing his life as Spider-Man, struggling to keep a job, make ends meet, all while dealing with the loss of Aunt May. Miles, on the other hand, has really become his own Spider-Man, but also realizing the difficulties keeping up with the two personas. After an unexpected visit from an old friend, Harry Osborn, who seems to be cured from his deadly sickness, that's kinda sus, Peter and MJ are thrilled to see their old friend well again and catch up on lost time. Times of peace between the trio is short-lived because Kraven the Hunter has chosen New York as his new hunting ground and shit goes left. Let's just leave it at that. Spider-Man 2 is a thrilling, high-stakes adventure, and the overall pacing of the story is great. I also really enjoyed all the breaks from the action as well, where we got to see more character dynamics and relationships. It took me about 18 hours to complete the main story and 35 hours to get the Platinum Trophy. I've been seeing a lot of conversation online about the game's length, and some people feel like it's on the shorter side. Personally, I think the game's length is perfect. Spider-Man 2 respects your time. Nothing in its story feels forced to extend the playtime, and I like that. The game doesn't overstay its welcome, and it's just as long as Spider-Man 2018, which nobody had a problem with. The story is amazing, and I can't wait to discuss it later in detail when everyone completes the game. Spider-Man 2 is absolutely beautiful. I went back and installed Spider-Man 2018 Remastered to look at the difference and check these side-by-sides out. It's a night and day difference. New York looks so much better in Spider-Man 2. The lighting, the assets, the textures, the ray trace reflections, the view distance, the traffic density, and the character models all got significant upgrades. I also found in Spider-Man 2, the city looks much more vibrant and colorful in comparison to Spider-Man 2018. It feels a lot more rich and alive. As for the performance, Insomniac are wizards. Spider-Man 2 has multiple different visual modes. It has a fidelity mode that targets 4K native resolution with all ray trace reflections enabled, pedestrians and traffic density maxed out, and better hair detail at 30 frames per second. It has a performance mode which offers an upscaled 4K resolution with ray tracing at a lower quality and toned down graphical detail to achieve a steady 60 frames per second. And has a fidelity 40 frames per second mode if you have a TV that supports 120Hz and has VRR. During my entire 35-hour playthrough, I didn't experience any performance problems in any of the modes I tried. Insomniac has done an incredible job providing a consistent experience. One of the most impressive features in Spider-Man 2 is its super fast loading. We all know the PlayStation 5 has an incredibly fast SSD, and they really flex it in Spider-Man 2. Switching between Peter and Miles and fast traveling anywhere on the map is damn near instant, no loading screens. Now, let's talk about the biggest and most important aspect of any video game, the gameplay. Like I said earlier, going into Spider-Man 2, I was concerned the gameplay might have peaked with Spider-Man Miles Morales, but after completion, I will say Insomniac was mostly successful in evolving the gameplay. In some aspects, they completely exceeded my expectations, and in others, I felt like they could have done a little bit more. I have a few gripes that I will address, but there's a lot of great changes, so let's break it all down. I want to start off with what I personally think got the biggest glow up, upgrade, improvement in the game, and that's the traversal. If you thought swinging around in New York was fun in Spider-Man 2018, it's 100 times better in Spider-Man 2. The big addition is Peter and Miles now have a wingsuit, and boy is it satisfying using it in combination with web swinging, point launching, wall running, corner tethering, and surfing. Yes, surfing. I went nuts when I found out the Sunset Overdrive water surf has made its way into Spider-Man 2. Just look how awesome this looks. They also added these slingshot launch pads scattered around the map, just, another way to get around. The web swinging speed is ramped up as well. With the inclusion of Queens and Brooklyn, the map size has pretty much doubled, but since the overall speed of swinging around is a lot faster, it doesn't really feel twice the size. Especially when you're gliding and you hit a jet stream, you really can cover a lot of ground. There's even an upgrade in the game where it allows you to do a loop-de-loop, and that really sends you flying. You can also toggle fall damage, making the game much more immersive, so you can't just jump off the Empire State Building and land on your feet. The updated traversal gets an A+ from me. Right away, I felt right at home playing Spider-Man 2. I played the entire game on spectacular difficulty and didn't have much trouble at all. For the most part, the free flow combat hasn't changed much outside of a few key additions. Now we have the ability to parry enemies, and the gadget system has been reworked. I really like these two changes in Spider-Man 2 because now that the parry system has been implemented, stronger enemies have these new attacks that are not dodgeable area attacks, and the only way to stop them without taking any damage is to parry. It's very satisfying to pull off. I love countering these attacks. As for the gadget system, it's been reworked to operate like your abilities. In Spider-Man Miles Morales, when you hit L1 and one of the face buttons, you can use Miles' Venom powers. Peter now has abilities too, armored spider arms and symbiote powers once you unlock the black suit. So now, to use a gadget, you gotta hit R1 and one of the face buttons. They completely got rid of the gadget wheel. I prefer this setup way more in Spider-Man 2 because now you don't gotta cycle through your gadgets, slowing down time, maybe accidentally picking the wrong one. You can just instantly use them. The flow of the combat is so much better. With that being said, there's only 5 gadgets in the game. Peter got less gadgets than he did in Spider-Man 2018, which is kind of a bummer. Some of my favorites didn't make a return, like the trip mine, web bombs, and the electric webs are all gone. The 5 gadgets that are in the game are pretty good though. Black Suit Spider-Man is probably one of the biggest reasons people are hyped for this game, and I want to set some expectations. First of all, Insomniac has done an amazing job with the suit design. It looks awesome. As you would expect, once he gets the suit, it starts to affect his personality, and you guys will see how it plays out in the main story. As for how it changes Peter's gameplay as Spider-Man, his armored spider arms gets replaced with Venom powers. These new abilities that he gets are super cool. He also gets a special move called the Symbiote Surge, and once it's activated, Peter becomes a beast dealing crushing combos to his enemies until the meter runs out. But besides that, don't expect any new swing animations or for his base combos to change. It remains the same. The stealth gameplay mechanics hasn't changed much either. Melee takedowns, web strike takedowns, wall, ceiling, and perch takedowns have all returned. The only new addition to the stealth gameplay is now Peter and Mouse can create these web lines about anywhere. It's actually pretty neat. Now you can create your own pathway to take down unalert enemies. Since I'm on the topic of stealth, our favorite girl is back. During the course of the game, you're going to be playing as a few different characters, and MJ is one of them. In the first game, a lot of people hated her stealth segments. Personally, I thought it became a lot more interesting towards the end when she got her taser gun. Well, in Spider-Man 2, she has her taser gun right from the very beginning, along with throwable distractions to alert enemies. I found her gameplay sections a lot more enjoyable this time around, and I'm glad Insomniac decided to make her parts better instead of completely removing them from the game after people complained. Just like in Spider-Man 2018, Spider-Man 2 has a lot of light RPG mechanics. There's a character level progression system that caps at level 60, and with each level you gain skill points where you can upgrade Peter and Miles. There's a solo skill tree for both of them, and there's a third skill tree they share together. There's some really cool upgrades in there. My personal favorite is the directional yank. Another slight change that they did is in Spider-Man 2018, as you leveled up, your swing speed and maximum health increased. But in Spider-Man 2, it's done a little different. In the menus, there's a suit tech tab where you use your tokens earned from doing open world activities to upgrade your health, focus, traversal, and damage. Alright, so let's go over the open world activities because this is one area I felt needed to be improved. In Spider-Man 2, Peter and Miles have their own set of side activities, and there's also a set of side activities either Spider-Man can do. The side quests in the game are actually well thought of and very good, but there's one problem. There wasn't a lot, especially for an open world game. After completing them all, I couldn't help but feel I needed more. There's this one particular side mission that ended in a crazy cliffhanger, and I was so tight. They're clearly saving it for a future DLC or something. Outside of side story content, there's photo ops, spider bots to collect, hunter bases, and other activities in the open world, which I won't say just yet because it contains some spoilers. Random city crimes has made its return as well. There's some old ones like stopping a speeding car, and there's some new ones in there as well. What's super dope is you can run into Miles or Peter, depending who you are at the moment, fighting crime in the city, and do some awesome tag team takedowns. This is a really great addition. Oh, and when a civilian is hurt, you may have to pick them up and swing them to the nearest hospital or ambulance. I felt like the city crime activities were pretty repetitive early game, but as you progress in the story and more types of enemies are introduced, it becomes a lot more dynamic. So the open world activities they have are actually great. I just wish they spent a little bit more time creating more side stories and more friendly neighborhood Spider-Man request storylines. I want to quickly address the boss fights in Spider-Man 2. I won't be showing anything in this review because of spoilers, but I can confirm they have vastly improved. The boss fights are not as QTE heavy like it was in the original. There's a whopping 68 suits in Spider-Man 2, and most of them have multiple different colorways you can unlock. The suits in the game are awesome, but I have another issue. They have completely removed the suit mods. I don't know, man. I thought it was pretty cool unlocking like the Spider-Punk costume and also getting a special move with it or a perk. I get it, there's 68 suits in the game, so that would be a lot of work, but still, it feels like they regressed in this aspect. On a positive note, when you're low health in a majority of the suits in the game from taking a beating, you see the damage. Just another detail that adds to the immersion. I think I pretty much tackled everything I wanted to in this review. Oh, there is one thing I forgot to mention though. As you would expect, Spider-Man 2 takes full advantage of the DualSense controller. From little sound effects coming out of the controller speaker to you feeling the tension of each swing on the adaptive triggers. It's a great experience. Also, after completing the game, do not expect a new game plus. I'm pretty sure it's gonna come after launch. When you do beat the game though, you do get access to ultimate difficulty. So that's the Spider-Man 2 experience. In conclusion, Spider-Man 2 is a fantastic game and definitely feels like a true sequel. Insomniac has done an incredible job making meaningful changes to the core experience. Revisiting Spider-Man 2018 highlights how much has improved. The only drawbacks being the amount of side story content in the game, the lack of suit mods, and the lack of gadgets. Everything else has gotten a major update. I look forward to seeing what Insomniac does next with the series. I do have a suggestion though, in case they're listening. Please give us a proper day and night cycle and some dynamic weather in the next game. I know certain missions need to take place in specific times of day, but we have seen games already solve this issue. Just fast forward time. I think that's all the open world needs at this point, because can you imagine if there were certain crimes that happen at different times of day, like at nighttime there would be more robberies. I think that would be pretty fire. Give us more side story content as well and we're golden. But that's the review, guys. I really enjoyed playing Spider-Man 2. Once again, thank you to PlayStation and Insomniac for sending over a review code. Hopefully this video was very informative, and if you enjoyed it, please hit the like button and subscribe for more quality content. It's your boy Kofi, and I'm out of here.